Brent Ramey, BrentHubs, for a fast break that was, Brent, just a lot to unfold in Tennessee's 66-64 win over Illinois and a hostile environment. We'll get all to that first. But first, let's get to the meat of the matter here, and that's Jordan Gainey. What a night for the senior carrying Tennessee, 23 points, 16, 18 in the second half. What a terrific performance by the senior.
Yeah, everybody's going to pay attention to the last shot, the last play, going coast to coast the way he did, finished in the way he did, through traffic, really tough shot. Game's tied, everything's on the line, at the buzzer, all that stuff. But he hit huge shots the entire second half. Chaz is out with foul trouble. Zakai's out with foul trouble. Tennessee needs somebody to step up and make shots. And Jordan Gainey, this is kind of the guy he's been all season. He's looked maybe arguably as good as anybody in terms of year-over-year progression, the progress that he's made. It looks like he's slowed down. He's making huge shots. He's just playing more in control. And today was just a little bit of a kind of an encapsulation of that because it's a tough environment. Everything's going against you. There's a ton of fouls called. It's hard to find a flow. You need somebody to step up, and that dude comes off the bench. And, you can ignore what he did on the final play because he was that good in the second half. And then the final play was, he said they work on it all the time. It's executed to perfection. Tough shot, and he made it.
Yeah, interesting. Down the left side, he makes it with the right hand. I love the play. I love the fact that Rick Barnes knew exactly what he wanted to run. There's no timeout. That does not give Brad Underwood a chance to set anything up with his team. I think that always plays to your advantage if you have a veteran team. And Gainey was head down to the rim. I mean, there was no pulling up. He knew he was supposed to get to the rim, and he got to the rim with great efficiency. To me, Grant, this is a big win because this is what veteran teams do. They went on the road in a tough night where maybe you don't have your best. You've got a lot going against you. I think this says a lot about the mentality and the makeup of this basketball team, which has so many new faces in it.
Right. The toughness of it. To do it without Zakai Ziegler for 14 minutes in the second half on the road is pretty crazy. To do it without Chaz Lanier for much of the second half because he had foul trouble the final 8 minutes, just to find different ways to do it. Darlin Stone-Dubar coming off the bench to hit shots and block shots and just give them really good minutes. Cade Phillips give them good minutes. Bishop Boswell, of all people, off the bench, the freshman guard, to give them big minutes after not playing at all against Miami Tuesday night in New York. So it's a lot of different guys that came in. It's just it's a kind of a culture win because you've been in these situations before, and they found a way to win games. Illinois is a really good basketball team, and that's a really tough test and a really hostile environment. Tennessee just kept finding answers.
Yeah, I thought that stretch in the second half where Tennessee found themselves down 6. And it was Dubar with the 3, and then Gainey with the pump fake 3 in the corner after a defensive stop. I thought that was the moment in the game. Was the game going to get away from them? Was 6 going to become 10, or could Tennessee reel them back in? I thought the confidence for Dubar to take that shot off an offensive rebound said a lot about where he is in his game right now, given the ups and downs that he's had on not being able to play a whole lot. So I thought that was a huge moment for him. Fair or not fair?
Yeah, that's fair. And he's a guy that averaged 17 at Hofstra last year. He scored 24 and 8 at Duke last December. Like, he knows how to shoot the basketball and score it, and he knows how to play at a high level. I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to get there, but this is such a huge just kind of step forward for him to come in kind of cold off the bench and just prove that he belongs. Bishop Boswell too. He didn't look lost out there. He held his own. You're not asking him to go out there and do anything crazy, but he gave you the minutes he had to give you with the foul trouble situation that was going on. Yeah, I agree that spot where they had a couple 4-point plays in like 3 minutes, and it felt like everything was starting to kind of teeter against Tennessee. It was a 10-0 run for Illinois at one point to go up by 6, and you just kind of kept looking down like, how is this game tied? How is this game close? And you got to credit for Tennessee for sticking around, finding a way to win a really, really tough basketball game.
All right, last couple of things for me real quick. Tennessee wins on the board +5. I thought that was big, but 17 offensive rebounds I thought was huge. I know Rick Barnes got plenty of things he wants to work on, but there's no way he's not leaving that gym pleased with his team winning the rebounding battle, having to play a small lineup much of the game, and the 17 critical offensive rebounds.
Yeah, you look at Igor Milicic and what Rick Barnes says nonstop all the time. If you're not going to make shots, you better find ways to affect the basketball game in other areas. I think Igor finished 2 for 13. The second one was that steal and transition dunk to either take the lead or tie the game with about a minute and a half left, I think, to take the lead. But he had 14 rebounds while he was going 2 for 13. And that's a huge, I don't know what his offensive numbers was. I don't have the box in front of me, but That's a huge number for him, and it's what you got to do. If you're not making shots, you got to find ways to affect games. I think a lot of guys on the roster, there weren't a ton of shots made going around, but there are guys that are finding ways here and there to affect the basketball game. And when you're ranked number one and when you're 9-0, you're at that spot for a reason. I thought Tennessee kind of showed that kind of toughness at why they're ranked among the elite, I guess, and 10-0 at this point in the season because they had guys like Igor and guys around him finding ways to win the basketball game on a night when it was tough to make a shot.
Yeah, 36 minutes from Igor was pretty impressive. He's probably not played 36 minutes in a
Right.
basketball game in a long, long time. My last thing, lots of fouls. This game had zero flow to it, right? I mean, Illinois got a chance to win it at the end when they don't score a field goal in the last 5 minutes. I texted you at the end of the first half. Has anybody made a field goal seemingly in 15 minutes of real time life? What was kind of the takeaway on just the lack of flow and the number of fouls that were called post game when you talked to everybody?
I think frustration on both sides because you were trying to just play a basketball game and it was just nonstop whistles in the first. Like it's one thing if it's one side that's unhappy with the officiating. It's another thing if it's both sides that are frustrated because it feels like every step you take there's a foul on one end of the floor. I think it was 26 combined fouls in the first half. I think Chaz was the only guy on either team that had more than one made shot from the field in the first half. I think there were 11 guys total between the two teams that had two fouls in the first. I think it's just frustration. And it changed the game, obviously, in the second half when Sakai picks up two fouls on one possession with 18 minutes left. Felix checks in, gets his fourth foul after sitting so much in the first half, third and fourth foul. Chaz, the same thing, the final 8 minutes. So to fight all that, to go on the road, to find a way to win a basketball game, it's a pretty impressive win for a Tennessee basketball team that's been impressive for the last 6 weeks.
Well, and the coverage at Volquest is impressive, led by Grant Ramey from Champaign, Illinois. We appreciate you as Tennessee beats Illinois by a score of 66-64. That's going to do it for the Exterior Home Solutions Fast Break.